The Labors of Heracles 8 down, 4 to go, written by Stephen Fry, Mythos. Heracles, son of Zeus, was a man of unmatched strength and courage. He had faced countless perils and emerged victorious. The Nemean lion, the nine-headed hydra, the Erymanthian boar, all had fallen to his might. 8 labors he had completed, each more daunting than the last. His name was whispered in both awe and fear. He served King Eurystheus, bound by a cruel fate. Hera, queen of the gods, fueled Eurystheus's hatred. She sought to break Heracles, to see him humbled. Each labor was a test, designed to push him to his limits. But Heracles remained unbroken. He met each challenge head-on, his resolve unwavering. The people of Greece hailed him as a hero. He was a symbol of hope, a testament to the indomitable spirit of man. But Heracles knew no peace. 2 more labors remained, 2 more trials to endure, and Eurystheus, spurred on by Hera, was determined to make them his most perilous yet. Eurystheus's new challenge, a queen's belt. King Eurystheus paced his throne room, a wicked gleam in his eyes. He had heard tales of the Amazons, fierce warrior women who ruled a distant land. Their queen, Hippolyte, possessed a gift from Ares, the god of war, a magnificent girdle, a symbol of her authority. Heracles, Eurystheus declared, his voice dripping with malice. Your next labor takes you east to the land of the Amazons. He detailed the challenge. Retrieve Hippolyte's girdle and bring it back to Tiryns. A seemingly impossible task. The Amazons were renowned for their ferocity. No man had dared to challenge their might and live to tell the tale. But Eurystheus knew of Heracles' weakness. He craved glory, sought to prove himself against any foe. This labor, steeped in danger and intrigue, was irresistible bait. A cruel smile played on Eurystheus's lips. He eagerly awaited news of Heracles' demise. The journey begins, across land and sea. Heracles, accompanied by a loyal band of companions, embarked on his 9th labor. Their ship cut through the Aegean Sea, propelled by the wind god's favor. The journey was arduous, fraught with peril. Storms raged, monstrous creatures of the deep threatened to capsize their vessel. But Heracles, ever resourceful and strong, guided them through each danger. He battled sea serpents with his bare hands, calmed the tempestuous waves with a word. His companions, inspired by his unwavering courage, faced their fears with newfound resolve. They made landfall on shores both familiar and strange, encountering diverse cultures and perilous beasts. Heracles, with his unwavering moral compass, chose his battles wisely. Sometimes diplomacy prevailed over brute force. He negotiated passage, forged alliances, his charisma as potent a weapon as his club. The Isle of Ares, a divine encounter. Their journey led them to a remote island shrouded in mist and mystery. This was no ordinary land. The air crackled with power. It was the sacred island of Ares, the god of war. As they ventured deeper, the vegetation grew denser. Then, through the trees, a figure emerged, tall, imposing, clad in gleaming armor, Ares himself. The god regarded Heracles with curiosity and respect. "What brings you to my domain, son of Zeus?" he boomed. Heracles explained his quest for Hippolyte's girdle. "A worthy quest," he rumbled. He then vanished, leaving Heracles to ponder his words. Finally, they reached the shores of the Amazons. Towering cliffs rose from the sea, guarding a land shrouded in legend. Heracles and his companions ventured inland, their senses on high alert. The air hummed with an unfamiliar energy, a palpable sense of female power. They were soon surrounded. Amazon warriors clad in leather and bronze emerged from the forest, their bows drawn, spears poised. Their leader, a vision of strength and grace, rode towards them on a magnificent steed. It was Hippolyte, queen of the Amazons. Her gaze, sharp and intelligent, settled on Heracles. She had heard tales of his exploits, of his strength and courage, but she saw no fear in his eyes, only respect. "You have entered our domain," she declared, her voice clear and strong. "State your business." Heracles, ever direct, explained his quest. He sought the girdle, not as a trophy, but as a task ordained by fate. He spoke of his labors, of the burden he carried, of his desire to atone for past sins. Unbeknownst to Heracles, Hera, goddess of marriage and women, watched from Mount Olympus. Rage burned within her. She would not see Heracles succeed. Taking on the guise of an Amazon warrior, she infiltrated Hippolyte's ranks, whispering falsehoods. "Heracles is a deceiver!" she hissed, her voice laced with venom. He comes not as a supplicant, but as a conqueror. He intends to steal your queen's girdle, to rob you of your power, and enslave your people." Her words, laced with magic, took root in the hearts of some Amazons. Suspicion clouded their judgment, whispers of dissent spread through their ranks, poisoning the air with mistrust. Hippolyte, swayed by her people's fears and Hera's deception, found herself questioning Heracles' true intentions. Her initial trust wavered. The girdle, a symbol of her power and authority, suddenly felt threatened. The seeds of doubt sown by Hera blossomed into chaos. A battle cry echoed across the land as the Amazons, fueled by fear and rage, attacked Heracles and his companions. The ground trembled beneath the charge of their cavalry, a wave of fury crashing against the hero and his men. Heracles, caught off guard, found himself fighting for survival. He had hoped to avoid bloodshed, to obtain the girdle through diplomacy. But now, surrounded by a whirlwind of flashing blades and deadly arrows, he had no choice but to fight. The battle raged. Amazons, skilled warriors all, fought with unmatched ferocity. Their arrows darkened the sky, their spears found their marks. But Heracles, with his superhuman strength and unwavering resolve, met their assault head-on. His companions fought bravely by his side, their loyalty and skill a match for the Amazonian might. The clash of bronze on bronze, the cries of the wounded filled the air. The earth ran red with the blood of both sides. Through the chaos, Heracles fought his way towards Hippolyte. He had to end this madness, to convince her of his true intentions. Hippolyte, blinded by fear, saw him as a threat. Their eyes met across the battlefield, a clash of wills. Armed with a spear blessed by Ares, she charged at Heracles. Heracles, heart heavy, raised his club to defend. He disarmed her swiftly, ending the battle. A stray arrow pierced her armor, her heart. She crumpled to the ground, lifeblood staining the earth crimson. Silence descended upon the battlefield. The Amazons, witnessing their queen's demise, lowered their weapons, their rage replaced by grief. Heracles, his heart heavy with sorrow, knelt beside Hippolyte's body. He had not wanted this, had not sought to take a life. He removed the girdle from her waist, the weight of it heavy in his hands. It was a magnificent artifact, crafted of gold and leather, imbued with the power of Ares. But it was a hollow victory. He had won the prize, but at a terrible cost. The remaining Amazons, their faces etched with grief and respect, allowed Heracles and his companions to depart. They recognized the tragedy of the situation, the cruel hand of fate that had orchestrated this bloodshed. As they set sail, leaving the shores of the Amazons behind, a heavy silence hung over Heracles. He had faced many foes, overcome countless challenges. But this victory, tainted by sorrow and regret, rang hollow in his soul. Heracles returned to Tiryns, the girdle a grim testament to his ninth labor. Eurystheus, upon seeing the prize, paled. He had hoped for Heracles' demise, not his continued success. He accepted the girdle with ill grace, his fear masked by feigned indifference. The people, however, hailed Heracles as a hero. They knew not the full story, the tragedy that had unfolded in that distant land. They saw only the victor, the man who had overcome yet another impossible challenge. But Heracles found little solace in their adulation. The weight of Hippolyte's death, the memory of the Amazonian battle haunted him. He had gained another victory, but at what cost? How many more trials must he endure before he found redemption? Despite the bittersweet victory, Heracles knew his servitude was not yet over. 10 labors he must complete, and only one remained. He steeled himself for the final challenge, whatever it may be. His spirit, though wearied, remained unbroken. Eurystheus, seething with resentment, plotted his final act of vengeance. He had heard whispers of a distant land, a place of eternal darkness and unimaginable danger. There, it was said, roamed monstrous cattle, guarded by a 3-headed giant. The 10th labor, Eurystheus decided, would be Heracles' most perilous yet. He would send the hero to the edge of the world, to face a foe unlike any he had encountered before. This time, Eurystheus was certain, Heracles would not return.